a little bit of mine. I got to sit in front of my desk and kind of talk with young folks. So it's always a pleasure and always a treat. As I was introduced, my name is Hemie Collier. I currently serve as a Senior Diversity Officer, Director of Intercultural Life, and Assistant Women's Lacrosse Coach at Cornell. This is the beginning of my 8th year at Cornell. So the kind of the crux of my talk is going to be a little bit about what I do, how I got to this point, why I do what I do, and hopefully some of my future goals in terms of doing what I do. Of course. One thing to learn, make sure you put your phone on vibrate, right? And then honestly, throughout this talk, if you all got questions, because I don't want it to be just me kind of talking and you all listening. I know that might get a little boring. So if y'all got questions, you got comments about something, raise your hand, and I'll answer it the best way I can. That work? That works for everybody? Okay, cool. So let me start with this. I always like to start with a little bit of kind of a game I call Two Truths and a Lie. One, please don't ever tell lies. But in this,
hey, Abby, Linda's over here waiting for you.
So I started with two truths and a lie, right? So I want you all to kind of figure out which ones are the truth, which one is the lie. So the first one is, I'll give you all three, and then I give you like a 30 seconds or so to try to figure it out. First one is, I coach women's professional football. I played college soccer. And then the last one, I started a dance group in college. I'll give y'all a couple seconds to figure it out. I coach women's professional football, played college soccer, and I started a dance group in college. Go. Which one am I lying about? Which one am I telling the truth about?
Soccer. Lying about the dance in college.
Okay, good guess.
The soccer?
Is the which one? Soccer is the
Second one.
is the lie or the?
The lie, yeah, lie.
Okay. Any others? Any others? One more.
Soccer's the lie.
Okay. You two are right. Soccer is the lie. I played football and I ran track in college. Yes, I do coach professional women's football. I was a head coach about 10 years for the Iron Crush, which doesn't exist anymore, but I am currently special teams coordinator, receivers coach, and cornerbacks coach for the Cedar Raptors, which we play now. Actually, our first game is in like April, so hopefully I'll come out at some point. And yes, I did start a dance group when I was in college. Myself and a good friend of mine, he wanted to start like a hip hop class, and then girlfriend I was dating at the time was like, hey, there's this dude that wants to start this class. You should go talk to him. We talked and was like, hey, let's start this group. So I started a group, and I think currently they are still going at my school now. I graduated from Lutheran College, so graduated in 2007. I started a group in 2005. So wow, almost 20 years. Jesus Christ. So yes, so you two right. Sorry, good guess though, right? So a little bit more about me. I'm originally from Waukegan, Illinois, which is a north suburb of Chicago. Waukegan is it's a suburb, predominantly black and brown residents. It's a little under 100,000 people. I graduated in a class of about 750 kids. So my high school was almost 4,000 kids. Ran track, played football in high school. The one thing I will say that I wish I would have done more in high school, and something that you often think about, yes, play sports and do other things, but try to get as involved in while you're in high school as you can, right? That's one thing I did not do. I ran track, played football, and that was it. I went to work, came home, right? I was a fairly good kid most times. I didn't get in major trouble. I did just enough to get by in my grades. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Trust me, it'll make things a lot easier for you moving on. So I graduated from Waukegan High School, wanting to be a high school history teacher. I was like, that's what I was going to do. I'm going to get my degree. I'm going to be a high school history teacher, and I was going to love it. Part of the reason why I wanted to go into education and be a teacher is my grandmother was a teacher. My uncles are school administrators were school administrators back in Sierra Leone. One thing I forgot. So I'm a first generation American. So my mom grew up in West Africa, so Liberia, and my dad grew up in Sierra Leone. But myself and my sisters, we were all born and raised here. Hence why my name is Hemie. So it wasn't just some name that my parents made up. Like, oh, this sounds good. Give it to you, right? So yes, I am very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of my background. I wasn't always, but I'm being very honest. I had to kind of learn a little bit more about it. Had to kind of grow into it. So yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to be an educator in my family was an education. I like to say I started my educational career. So everyone's 6 through 8?
Just 7.
6 to 7? Just 7? So actually I would like to say I started my educational career when I was in 7th grade. So I was in this organization, National Junior Honor Society, and hey, you need to go get some volunteer hours. And so I was like, okay, I went to the local elementary school. I was a teacher's aide for the kindergarten class. And by teacher's aide, I went in there, helped them zip up their clothes. The coach helped tie some shoes, helped them get ready to go home. I did a couple things, and then I went home. So I did that for 2 years. I initially wanted to be a computer programmer because one of my favorite uncles, God rest his soul, was a computer programmer. Then I realized, wait a minute, so I got to sit at a computer for 8 hours a day in a cubicle and not talk to people? Absolutely not. That is not what I want to do. I got to be out. I'd rather be out talking and dealing and working with people. So that's kind of how I got into education. Kind of fell into it. Initially went to Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, which was an experience. Once again, take yourself serious as a student. Unfortunately, I did not. I did just enough to get by, and that did not work for me. It doesn't work for anybody, right? So I really had to put in work. So I eventually took some time off, kind of relaxed, and kind of figured out what I wanted to do. Then I met an advisor. She kind of helped me get my academics in order, kind of helped me figure out what do I need to do. And so that kind of brought me to Luther College, which is in Decorah, Iowa, which is about 2 hours north of here. Part of the story there, in high school, Luther College was recruiting me to come there to play football and run track and all that, right? Initially, I was like, there's nowhere in God's green earth I'm going to Iowa. It's small, there's no black people there. I'm good, right? I'm not going to Luther College. Obviously, I was wrong, right? Obviously, everything that I thought about small town Iowa, everything that I thought about Iowa was completely wrong. So I fought it tooth and nail. I'm not going to Iowa. Fast forward to 2004-ish, 2003-ish, actually I should say. And I'm kind of a night owl, so I'm sitting in the library. I'm doing some homework. Once again, do not do that. Do your homework before 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'm doing my homework, and I'm thinking, what is that school in Iowa that, is it Lutheran? Luther High? Look it up. Looked it up, and was like, okay, this doesn't look that bad. It's all right. I'll set up a visit. Cool. I'll go to this school. So I get to this school, and so I'm a religious person, so I was like, God knew what he was doing when he sent me on that day. So I hate the cold. So right now I'm loving it. It's not snowing outside. It's not negative 1,000 degrees. It's a little chilly, but I'm good, right? And you all know how it is when you're around here in March. In March, it can be negative 50 or it can be 75 degrees or anything in between. So I get to Luther. It's mid-March. Birds are chirping. Sun's out. It's about 60 degrees. It's wonderful. People walk across campus. I was like, this is beautiful. I think I can handle this place. But it wasn't completely connecting just yet. It wasn't until I met one of my history professors. Her name was Dr. Valerie Sigwald. She's a black woman from, if I remember correctly, she was from Washington, D.C. We were supposed to have a meeting for about 30 minutes. That meeting turned into about 2 hours, bless you. That meeting turned into about 2 hours. That was probably one of the most influential conversations I've ever had in my life. She made me feel like I could belong at this school. She made me feel like whatever I wanted to do, I could do at this school. She was just like, yeah, man, we need you to come here, you young brothers. I was just like, I don't know who this black lady is, but she is dope. I need to come. I need to learn from this lady. And so at that moment, I went back to the place I was staying in. I met a couple of teammates, blah, blah, blah. I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I think I want to go to school here. Now, here's where it was a little difficult. Like I said, I didn't grow up poor. Definitely didn't grow up rich, right? So somewhere in that middle where my dad worked 12 hours a day, my mom worked 2 jobs. I started working when I was 9, I think, had a paper route, so we had to work to get to where we at. So I called my dad and said, Dad, I want to go here, but I don't know if we can go to school here. So my dad kind of paused this. He was like, this is where you want to go? Yeah, he was like, all right, well, we'll figure it out. And at that time, my 2 older sisters were in college, my brother was in college. I think that was right around the point where the place where my mom was working at, they were closing down. So there was a lot going on. So I was like, are you sure? He said, this is where you want to go? Yeah, then we'll figure it out. All right, don't you threaten me with a good time. So I get off the phone, I get to Luther. I would like to say that was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Part of that reason I say that is because going to Luther helped me see a lot of different things. As I said, my hometown was about 100,000 people, predominantly black and brown, suburb of Chicago, but it's kind of urban, blah, blah, blah. Then you go to Decorah, Iowa, small town Iowa, right? 8,000 people, everything closed at 9 o'clock. There's not a lot of food going on. I was like, what is this? But it was the best place for me to go because it allowed me to step out of my comfort zone. I would like to even say I learned how to be a black man in America in that place. I learned how for me to be super comfortable in my skin. I learned how, yes.
Did you go skiing when you were in Decorah?
Absolutely not. I would like to, but I did not. Remember, I don't like the cold. So, okay, great question. But it just allowed me to kind of step into myself, right? It allowed me to learn different things. Part of it, once again, one of the reasons why I learned, I started a dance group at Luther because I wanted to feel comfortable. That was something that I did as a kid. That was something that I used to see growing up, some things I used to see on TV. I wanted to bring something of me at Luther. It allowed me to be in things like student senate, allowed me to be an RA, allowed me to all these different things, right? Step into these places I probably would have never stepped to had I not went to Decorah. It helped me get the confidence to want to get my master's degree, which I got in 2015. Helped me get the confidence to want to get my doctorate degree, which I'm currently working on now. It also helped me think about I wanted to do more than just teach, right? I feel like my call wasn't to only just teach. I wanted to find a way, how can I step into, I hate to say bigger role because without teachers, yeah, administrators, we do all right, but you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to be in a place where how can I help teachers do the things that they do, right? So I was like, all right, I want to be an administrator. I want to continue doing that, right? So that's kind of how I got to that point. I'll pause there. And any questions? I know that was a whole lot that I went there, but I kind of want to hear from you all a little bit. So, any questions about anything you just heard? I know somebody got a call. I thought you had a question, but you moved too quickly. I won't call it. Any questions, comments about anything you heard? Yes.
What's your dissertation?
Oh, my dissertation is going to be how do I get young men more involved in extracurricular activities outside of athletics? I want young men to become not just administrators, but teachers, nurses, social workers, because you all need it. I was a young man, I needed that. I needed some help, right? So how can we get young men who want to do things other than, yes, if you want to be a CEO, go for it, but I want you all to be more involved in the community in terms of this boots on the ground, so to speak. So yes, that's my dissertation. Great question. So a dissertation is what you have to write at the end of your doctorate degree.
What's a social worker?
Social worker is a counselor. I hate that. Not to, to loosely put it, to counselor. Any other questions? Yes.
Can you still dance it?
Yes, I actually taught a dance class. I teach a dance class at Cornell now. So I teach every Wednesday for an hour. I'm not as good as I used to be, but I can move a little bit. Any other questions? So, last thing I will leave you with. So I know this is Black History Month. It's about celebrating people's history, your heritage. So not only do I want you to learn more about Black history, I also want you to learn about yourself and your heritage, right? And why that's important. It's important for you to understand where you're coming from, because that's going to help you where you need to get to, right? It's going to help you, inspire you to do certain things. It's going to help you, inspire you to not to want to make whatever mistakes that happened in the past, right? So get to learn about more people, understanding different people. I promise you that's going to help you be a better person, better worker, better, if you want a family, whatever it is. If you understand different people and understand who you are, that's going to help you be a much better human. All right. So once again, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.